And how's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back to another Great Ace Attorney. Boop. There we go. Let me get the music going. At least let me get the music going. Why would I do a stream without the music going on, right? But how is everybody? Hope everybody's doing a-okay. Oh, goodness. It's my first stream since I started working my new job, and let me tell you, I got that work tiredness going on. I got the work sleepies, the work tiredness. I'm just tired. But I do want to play games, so here we are. Who's ready for more Great Ace Attorney? We gotta see what happens in the adventure of the cloud. That's what it is. The cloud. Just powering down for a second. Let me just reboot myself and let's get started back with this case. All right. I have considered the defense counsel's request for further summation examination of the jury. Because if you don't remember what happened last time, they all voted guilty once again, and now we got to do a second summation examination to turn the tides to make sure we don't lose the case. Isn't that a mouthful? And I have determined that the court must uphold the defense's judicial right to this procedure. So if I want more, I'll keep getting more. Who's gonna stop me? Nobody can stop me. If I want to do another summation examination and a third summation examination and then a fourth summation examination, I want to do them all. So let's proceed with the second one. I presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman? We are, my lord. Very good. In that case, I must ask each of you now to state clearly and... So I'm tired from work and I'm tired from dying. Thanks. I must ask each of you now to state clearly and concisely for the court the grounds on which you find the defendant guilty of this crime. So how guilty work? Judicial findings. The juror's contentions. The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his. If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider. Even if the woman was storing books, it can't be related to this crime if the window was closed, can it? Dearie me, it was only a little book. Hardly life-threatening, even with a direct hit. A direct hit? Have you ever been hit with a book? Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tidy bit of trouble. Come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. It gave me the sneezes. Wait, Santa, why did you get sneezes? Why did Santa Claus get sneezes? Yes, considerably more tangible arguments from all members of the jury this time around, it seems. With one notable exception, of course. My learned student friend was unable to find fault in the previous witness testimony. So the court must accept the fact that it was indeed the accused seen fleeing from the scene. And moreover, another glass into the flames. No one else was even at that scene to commit the crime. Well, if the eyewitnesses are correct, it would seem as if the conclusion is somewhat set in stone. I fail to see how it can be argued in any other way. That means I'm afraid that during the summation examination, it's essential that you establish some other tangible explanation for the facts. But how? What would even constitute a tangible explanation here? Isn't it obvious? Who stabbed the woman and how? Those 2 details are all you need to provide. Simply give us a name and a method by which the attack was conducted. And there I was thinking this might be hard. But Mr. Naruhodo, you have to do it. Otherwise this really will be where the trial ends. Alright, I'll just name some random person and random weapon. It was Miss Wendy with the knife. She has it right there in her hand. It might be a pen, but it's a knife if you stab somebody really, really, really hard. But no pressure then. That's quite enough preamble. Proceed with the summation examination, please. Right, chat? Any weapon anything can be a weapon if you try hard enough. A piece of paper, a weapon. Hand sanitizer bottle, a weapon. Barbecue sauce, a weapon. Air, a weapon. I presume you're prepared, counsel? Oh, yes, my lord. However, Inosuke, focus your mind now by slapping yourself. Oh, that was a double slap attack. I only hit twice. Clearly, the key to the summation examination is going to be juror number 4, the maid, or should I say, Mrs. Garadib. We have a book that disappeared from the Garadib's house on the evening of the incident, and the 4th book found in the victim's hand. There must be a way to link the two. Yes, that's what we have to find, using every technique I've learned in my short career so far, in only 2 days. I was a lawyer for 2 days. That's enough to be like, where's the big bucks? I want the big money now. The big shot. I'm the big shot now. Don't forget to keep an eye on Mrs. Garadib and how she reacts, even to the things other people say. So we gotta say the maid is sus. The maid is sus, chat. The maid is sus. But let's do it though. The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his. But as we now know, there were 4 books, not 3. Well, what difference does it make? There's every possibility that the 4th book, in fact, belongs to the defendant's landlord. Yes, that's the part I have a problem with. Wait, sorry? Well, at the point the woman was stabbed, this landlord fellow was at home, wasn't he? Enjoying a fiery scrap with his wife or something, you said? That's not exactly how I put it, no. Well, anyway, the point is, the fellow and his wife were somewhere else when it happened. I think that's what you call a strong alibi. So it couldn't have been the landlord who did it, which only leaves the Nipponese fellow. Honestly, I can't see what all this palaver's about. It's a done deal, isn't it? I suppose it is, since I've nothing witty left to say. I've run out of witty, funny lines, chat. Imagine me running out of funny lines. That's like saying I've run out of funny. Do I ever run out of funny? Sometimes I do. Sometimes I run out of funny. If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider. So, you might be willing to change your decision, you mean? Use some of yours? This is a sanitation bottle. What are you trying to tell me? Take some of yours. It's a freaking bottle of hand sanitizer. Oh my, such delight in your face, but I'm afraid I shan't be swayed by emotion. Despite what you may think of me, I'm a very modern, metropolitan, and rational woman. Hey Jabari, how you doing? That's great. If one reads the morning papers, it's all forgotten by tea time, isn't it? Tea time. I would drink my tea, but the tea is for staying awake and I need to sleep soon because I got work tomorrow morning, so no tea time, not tonight. So why read them in the first place? You meant funny, take your funny. Nah, I don't want anybody else's funny. You stay funny your own way. Why would I steal people's funny? Am I the sloth that steals the funny? You see, modern, metropolitan, and rational thinking, wouldn't you say? And not at all extreme. As I see it, an overwhelmingly suspicious Japanese man has been implicated by overwhelmingly strong testimony. So despite 1 or 2 minor puzzlement, I do declare that the man is overwhelmingly guilty. Modern, metropolitan, and rational logic, wouldn't you say? Overwhelmingly. But us modern gals are always delighted to embrace new fads, you know. So I'd be only too happy to consider an exciting new theory if you can come up with one. I'd be happy to do that too if only I could. Let's do our very best not to disappoint the modern and metropolitan young lady. Right. I'm glad you admitted rational there. Alright. Who is metropolitan and rational? Rational, metropolitan, and modern. I am a modern, rational, metropolitan sloth, don't you know? Especially I'm metropolitan. Do you know how metropolitan I can be? By the way, chat, who's ready for Pokemon Blue Diamond and Shiny Pearl next week? Who's ready for that? Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to this crime if the window was closed, can it? But what about the possibility that the window was open? What about it? I mean, there's just no way it could have been. How can you be so sure? The prosecutor fellow over there said it earlier, didn't he? Winters in London or don't joke. You don't want to invite that sort of cold indoors. Blue diamond? Oh, I mean... Oh, you're right. I made a mistake. I mean bleeding diamond. Blood diamond. Big diamond. Boogie diamond. Book diamond. Hey, Evie, you're ready? You're going to let your parents buy for you for Christmas? So yeah, I've decided that I will get Blinkin Diamond to Nuzlocke next time. So when I do get it, get ready for a Nuzlocke of that. Shadow Platinum when? No. No. Wait, why Shadow Platinum? It's gotta be called Perfect Platinum. Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, Perfect Platinum. It's perfect. So no, that window wasn't open. Us Londoners like sitting by the fire and staying warm, see? But you couldn't categorically state that the window wasn't open, could you? It just wasn't. They wouldn't have opened it. Then there was the point of even having windows, huh? Counsel, you will kindly refrain from childish bickering. Sorry, I just love my windows. Sorry, Judge. Somehow I need to show there's an undeniable possibility that the window was open. Because this young man isn't going to budge otherwise. And now the sus made. Theory me, it was only a little book. Hardly life-threatening, even with a direct hit.
Hold it!
You just confessed to a crime. But the little book was on fire at the time, was it not? With flames of love, I'll have you know. There's really no such thing as a loving incendiary bomb. Well, he brought it upon himself as playing with fire to betray a fiery love. Isn't it? Well, don't you agree? Well, any kind of betrayal is certainly a bad thing, yes. But I think the argument might have arisen out of your misunderstanding, Mrs. Garrideb. She keeps trying to slap the guy next to her. Never you mind that. The point is we're just having a jovial little dispute, nothing more. And I won't have any more of these suggestions that it was anything whatsoever to do with this crime. Right. Well, we'll see about that. But what about juror number 5? He doesn't seem to be turning a hair on Mrs. Garrideb's relentless onslaughts. It's almost as though he's used to it. What a gentle soul he is. Gentle, yeah, sure, let's call it that. Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tidy bit of trouble. You just want to get this over with? How can you sit there and say something like that? A man's future is at stake here. Well, him and me both then, like I said before. What? I told you already, I'm a day laborer, aren't I? If I don't bring home some Readies with me tonight, you'll find me floating face down in the Thames tomorrow morning. Oh, taking a little nap, right? Fix what the Thames means, like, it's the big water area. That's the Thames. Taking a nap in the water, who cares? What? You heard me, my missus isn't one to mess about, you know. She can be fierce, believe you me. Another shining example of martial bliss then. A situation like this cropped up the other day. It was, well, did you know what's funny, but I can't quite remember. Hey, Joker, how you doing? How am I Lorian today? I'm kind of tired from the work I've been doing today and yesterday. First week of work is getting me tired, but it's the work tired, so I'm fine. Sorry? It was too frightening, that's the thing. I must have blocked it out. Helpful. I wonder if Mr. B will ever be dragged into the Thames by his scarf. Don't even go there, Miss Usato. There must be some way to jog his memory about this. There's gotta be some change somewhere. Come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. It gave me the sneezes.
Hold it!
How's the new job so far? Good. Does that have anything to do with your decision about the defendant's culpability in this case? Sorry, what's that? You'll have to speak up, lad. Could you tell us more about that fire? It was last winter. My grandchildren baked me a lovely cake on my birthday. It had 75 candles on the top. I need a video of fire like right about now. Hold on, I think I can get some fire going. Can I get some fire going? I think I got some fire somewhere. Where can I make fire? I can make some fire real quick. It's gotta be real quick. Hold on. I know I have something for that. Thank you. I guess that was the fire right there. I guess that was the fire. Oh wait, that's just a video right there. Dang it, I was gonna put green screen up. I was gonna green screen some fire, but that was gonna work. It had like this intro video for some reason. I don't know why. But 75 candles? You put candles on a cake? Was it some kind of devil worship? Happy birthday. Of course not. It was an angel cake to celebrate my birthday, obviously. If I were an anime character, which one would I be? The main character, because I'm always cool. I deserve to be cool. It seems that's a common custom here in Great Britain, Mr. Naruhodo. Anyway, I mustered all my puff to blow them out. Only I must have blown wrong somehow. The flames didn't go out, but candles went flying all over the room. The furniture caught and everything went up. The whole place filled with smoke. Definitely sounds like devil worship to me. Ugh. And by the sneezes, I presume you mean a cold? But how did you catch a cold from a fire? What a fiasco it was. The grandchildren, bless them, threw water over me as they tried to put out the flames. Did I know I could move faster if I used both sticks when zooming? No, I did not. I did not. That's actually pretty cool. I did not know using both sticks makes it go faster. Hey, that's awesome. Thank you. We had to open all the windows to clear it. The windows? The biting winter air rushed over me like the devil dancing on my grave it did. I caught a terrible cold from it. It put me in a hospital for a while. I won't forget that birthday in a hurry. I knew it was devil worship all along. But something about this old man's story is playing on my mind for some reason. We need to demonstrate who, apart from Mr. Natsume, could have attacked the young woman on the street, as well as how he or she could have done it. Yes, but once again, the jurors' statements are full of personal prejudice. A lot of them seem convinced they're right, even in the face of logical arguments to the contrary. I think you're gonna need to pit them against each other to force them to accept an alternative explanation. Yes, I don't necessarily need to find contradictions between their assertions, just a connection might do the trick. And I think I found one already. That's the spirit. All right. So the thing is, the old man explained about the fire, right? He explained about fire and he had to open up. Yeah, there we go. Winter house fires are dire. You have to open windows to clear the smoke. So when there's smoke, they pinch back. So let's do it. So we're gonna pick you and we're gonna make you punch her. Yes. Throwing books because the books were on fire. So what if I do 3 and 6?
Objection.
These two juror statements clearly contradict one another. They do. How exactly, counsel? Don't point at me again. I told you it wasn't me. Was that you say? Speak up, lad. Speak up. Juror number 3, do you see? Oh, me? See what, sir? Did you hear juror number 6's account of his birthday celebrations last year? It seems despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of winter. Well, yes, of course, because it was an emergency. I mean, obviously, if the room was filled with smoke from a fire, then you'd be mad not to open the... Oh, thank you! Exactly. On the day in question, at the time of the incident, there was a fire in the Garadeb household, and Mr. Garadeb had the following to say about it. My face looks like a moon. The whole place filled with smoke, and when there's smoke, they pinch back. You complicated the full chronicles? What? Commented? Whoa, how'd you comment it and complicate it, Thumb? Oh, my hat. The sip. How much tea is in there? There's a lot of tea. Juror number 4, do you have something to say about that? Okay, you can stop drinking. Stop it. Mrs. Garrideb! Oh, dearie me. What is the meaning of this? How dare you imply that I'm hiding who I really am? It's imperative that you confirm something for the court. So please, it's time to drop the pretense now. What is it? When the fire started in your house that day, did you or your husband open the window? What? I beg your pardon? What are you insinuating? The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpet and bookcase caught fire as they did. In a situation like that, it's inconceivable that you wouldn't have opened the window. And what if we did? I open windows. Oh, look, open, close, open, close. I'm a window opener and a window closer. You gonna kill me now? Yes. Oh, all right then. Yes, you're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the window, which can have been easy since I continue to give him a justly deserved book battering. Even though your house was on fire? Oh, you never stop throwing until the anger subsides. It will be terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise. Of course, I should have realized. That's a significant step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. You managed to establish that the window was open. We simply must have that added to Mrs. Garrideb's formal statement. Alright, so the window was open. Now that you mention it, yes, the window was open at the time. I clean forgotten, but it's true. So let's see. Window, window, window. Hey, Sidetrix, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Hold it! I hope you're doing okay. The 4th book found at the scene of the crime shows very obvious signs of fire damage. And the title of the book is The Lion's Pride. The OST of both games, yeah, well, I'm only playing the first one so far. It's great so far, but if you say the second one's great too, then I'm looking forward to it. The same title, in fact, as the book that Mr. Garrideb told us he had been reading. You thought we were done with this game? What do you mean? I only stream this once a week. Well, I really couldn't say. On the day in question, did you or did you not throw at your husband the copy of The Lion's Pride that he had been reading? I did. It was the first thing I could lay my hands on, so I hurled it straight at him. And now you come to mention it. Yes. He was rather enjoying reading it, you're right. I thought she was about to say he was rather enjoying the beating. That would have been a different case right there. Why did you not reveal this info to the court from the outset? Because I couldn't, you insolent little man. I didn't remember. At times like that, you pick up and throw whatever you can lay your hands on as well, you know. I really don't. I barely noticed I was throwing a book, much less the title of it. You barely noticed? Everybody act like him. He's my favorite pose.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. What is it, juror number 5? You know something? I've remembered what it was. That memory I blocked out. Ah. It was listening to what this granny was saying. Brought it all flooding back. Don't call me granny. Who are you calling a granny, you cheeky devil? I'm Mrs. Garrideb, or the maid I'll have you, or the... I'm Mrs. Garrideb, or the maid. Oh yes. I love that. I'm Pixel, or the sloth I'll have you know. The man doesn't even flinch. Please tell me that's not because he's so used to being hit all the time. It was about 2 weeks ago now. I just got back home after work, like. I put my hand in my pocket for the wages I just earned that day and I nearly died. There was a hole. Every last penny had dropped out. Oh dear, what a disaster. You haven't heard the half of it, boy. Oh? The wife was cutting up some chicken at the time. Next, I was the chicken. I could hardly get the words out, but I told her straight. I've lost a day's wages, love. Next thing I knew, the blade was whistling past my ear, stuck into the wall next to me it did, about an inch deep. Ugh, no words, just terror. I could smell it then, you know, that god-awful stench of the dames. I was sure I was gonna end up face down in the muddy banks that night, I can tell you. Now, that's a real disaster, isn't it? I'll never use the word lightly again. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this. When women lose their rag, they'll throw anything at you. Knives, hatchets, hammers, you name— I thought he almost said hamsters. Knives, hatchets, hamsters, you name it, they're thrown at you. Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't think that all women are so short-tempered and unrefined. No, I wasn't thinking that. Throwing household objects at people is, well, it's so uncivilized. At least attack with honor, using a bow or the like. Wait, what? Attack? Wait, who are you going to attack? Never mind. Anyway, this man's words could be rather significant, I think. Alright, we'll come back to the bow and arrow thing later. Rope? Lamp oil? Bombs? You want to throw it? It's yours, my friend, as long as you have enough rupees. Not all women throw objects because Usopp throws people. That makes a lot of sense, right? A woman in a rage will hurl almost anything at you. The kitchen knife really brought that home to me. The kitchen knife really brought that home to me. Window was open at the time. 3 books. Hold on, I'm gonna do another hold it. Your wife really threw a kitchen knife at you. That's right, she was chopping meat with it. Had a tidy edge on it, believe me. Still, it's all memories, isn't it? It started with that smile she threw me when we were recording. And since then, the list of things she's thrown at me has grown along with our relationship. There was a cup, then a glass, then a pot, then a kettle, then a chair, then a wardrobe, then a cooker, then a bathtub, then me. Your wife must be even beefier than you. And things came to a head last week when she threw me— oh! She actually threw him! I was joking! Right into the Thames. Still, she's not so bad when she's calmed down. She's a little sweetheart, really. I'm so happy for you. If you want to know what I think this whole idea of ladies first that we're so obsessed with in this country was thought up by some clever lads who have been tossed into the Thames a few too many times by their wives. Hey, fandummer. What can't she not throw? Me. And you know why? Because I'm a sloth and nobody, and I mean nobody, can talk. Ah! 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 I'm back. That was quite a trip right there. But yeah, how you doing, fandom? What a terrible thought. On the face of it, the shortest statement just sounds like a really extreme antidote. But I think it might turn out to be an extremely powerful weapon. A weapon I might be able to use to make the jurors accept an alternative explanation here. Ooh, alternative we say, like alternative medicine that will make me sick. A woman in a rage will hurl almost anything at you. So what, we're gonna say, oh, it wasn't a man who threw it, it was a woman because woman angry.
Objection.
That actually worked. These two statements clearly have a deeply significant connection. Good grief, you mean they don't contradict each other? Explain, counsel, at once. Juror number 2, do you think perhaps that this could be one such novel alternative? Oh my, whatever do you mean? An alternative explanation as to how the victim was stabbed in the back. What are you talking about? We've demonstrated that the fourth book, The Lion's Pride, that was found at the scene of the crime, originated in Mr. Gyarados' room on the top floor of his house. Therefore, it's equally possible that some other object, besides the book, could have found its way from the Gyarados household to the street below. Was that now? After all, Mrs. Gyarados could have thrown any number of different objects at her husband. Isn't that right, juror number 4? What are you insinuating now, you little beanpole? Call me beanpole one more time, Mrs. Garrideb, and I will shove your ring in your mouth. I'm beginning to think that ever since the true origins of this book came to light, perhaps she's had a feeling this might be what happened. Now you listen here, you Easter Gala. As the foreman of this jury, I demand a straight answer. You give us this yarn about some other object making its way out the house, but what? What is it? I'm really taking a big gamble here. That was a bold accusation to make, but I haven't gotten any real evidence to back it up. Time to lie, but I'm certain that at the very least this warrants further investigation. Alright, Mr. Foreman, I'll try to explain the defense's theory. The other object that found its way from the Garrideb household to the scene of the crime was... The other object? Maybe this jackknife? Juror number 4, Mrs. Garrideb. Not lie, bluff. So, you know what the L stands for in bluff? Lying. So we're blyf. We're blyf. Blyf. There we go. That's what we're blyfling. Blying. That's what it is. We're blying. What now? I must apologize in advance for this. But I need you to confirm something else for the court. This knife. Have you ever seen this knife before? Good Lord, Counsel, what on earth are you doing? That's the weapon that was lodged into the victim's back, man. And I have it right here. Here, catch. Oh! My lord, remember that when the victim was attacked, Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb were in the throes of an argument. Mrs. Garrideb was hurling anything she could at her husband, who had been backed up against the window. A window that had been opened to clear the smoke, and through which a book sailed to land at the crime scene. You can't seriously believe that the book was found in the victim's grasp. Are you saying that it flew out of the window and across the streets and landed neatly in her hand? Have you ever seen this knife? What do you... Just kills me right now. By the way, chat, has anyone read about what's going on YouTube with YouTube recently, that they're taking away dislikes? Well, the dislikes are still there. You just don't know how many dislikes a video has. What do you think about that? So you only see the number of likes, but you can never see the number of dislikes. Huh? Even my missus hasn't got a name like that. Yes, I admit that there are many details we don't yet understand, but that's the point. That's precisely why. We must not allow this trial to end, not right now. Oh my. Go. Mrs. Garrideb, your answer please. Have you seen this knife before or not? Oh, She died. She saw the knife so hard she died. My lord. I wish to change my decision. I'm a woman, my word, after all. The Byleth trailer. Wait, what do you mean the Byleth trailer? You mean the YouTube Rewind 2018? The one with like 19 million dislikes? Thank you, madam. Yes, I agree. I certainly didn't see this coming, but I just don't think it would be right for this trial to come to an end now with so many unanswered questions. Mr. Foreman. I'd have to agree. Not that I think the granny didn't mind. Yes, you know what? I'm not quite happy about this at the moment either. All together now, ladies and gents. Wait, the old man. The old man is still saying guilty. We did it. Oh, congrats, Mr. Naruhodo. So as a result of the defense's summation examination, a number of jurors' leanings have changed. 2 jurors called guilty against 4 now calling innocent. Accordingly, the opinion of this court is divided. And this trial will continue. Yeah, I did it. All I did was complain to everybody until I found my way through. I'm a master at this. I should be a lawyer for real. So everybody can throw fire. Now then, Lord Van Zieks, how does the prosecution wish to proceed? He's doing it. He's doing it. He poured it. This trial is rapidly descending into a farce. I mean, fart. Like a corked wine, the first few sips are bitter enough. But what follows is so repugnant, it's good for nothing save the gutter. If I may, Lord Van Zieks, the defense has just put forward a credible alternative explanation for what happened. Credible? Is that your considered opinion, Mr. Foreman? The defense's argument is a joke to which I barely know how to respond. But let me start by insisting that you must all familiarize yourselves better with the relative positions of those places being discussed. Wait, what do you mean by that? What's this angle this time? It should already be more than apparent that between the crime scene and the Garadev household runs a rather wide street, Briar Road. Which means that the distance from the Garadev's house to the scene is some, yes, 15 yards. Let me see, 15 yards. That's around 14 meters. Wow, thanks, that's very helpful. 14 meters? Oh, that's a little farther than I imagined. And as you ladies and gentlemen of the jury rightly noted as having portentous significance, the fourth book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, the smoldering book wantonly hurled by the lady of the house traveled some 15 yards to land on the opposite side of the road, neatly between the collapsed victim's fingers and thumb. Is that your final conclusion, my learned and deluded friend? And did the jackknife follow a near identical trajectory to the plunge into the middle of the victim's back? This fantasy is somewhat stretching the notion of having a bad day for the victim, I think. Even those pathetic serialized detective stories have more believable plots. There's nothing I can say to that. That prosecutor loves the sound of his own voice. Miss Usato! Serialized detective stories are prophetic, are they? How dare he? He will die for this. Maybe let's pick our battles here? My lord, might I be allowed to speak? As judicial assistant, you may speak for the defense. Yes, go ahead. The prosecution may consider the idea a fantasy, but what the defense has postulated was believable enough to persuade the jury to change its leaning. And as such, the court has a duty to explore this alternative explanation as thoroughly as possible. To that end, Juror number 4, Mrs. Joanne Garadev, must be called to testify and submit to cross-examination. Saints alive! A cross-examination of a juror? Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it! Order? Well, this is highly irregular. It is unprecedented for a member of the jury to be summoned to the witness stand.
Objection!
Sorry, whoever got hit back there. And unnecessary. Lord Van Zieks? There are already witnesses in the stand whose testimony the defense... There are already witnesses in the stand whose testimony the defense may further cross-examine. If my learned friend's farcical theory has any truth in it, then both a burning book and a jackknife must have flown through the sky before this couple's eyes. And we must assume that they will be able to testify accordingly. What say you, witnesses? Yes, sir. Constable Rolly B reporting for duty, sir. Oh. Well, good morning, officer. Sorry for dozing until now. Sir? I haven't slept for a month on account of a villain who's appeared on my beat, sir. Oh, they are so heroic, these London bobbies. Patricia, my darling, I've been neglecting you, but no more. Oh, Rolly, my hero, you make me swoon. Stop loving each other. Very well, I hereby reject the defense's request. Oh. And order the witnesses in the stand to testify again. State forthwith before the court any details pertaining to the defense's alternative explanation of plots. Yes, sir. Who are these two? They're the lovey-dovey couple. They love each other very much, and the lady likes pulling on the guy's scarf even though he's like really sleepy right now. This case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garrett. Believe me, a London Bobby is good for his word. You see, sir, the windows on the top floor of the Garrett house are top hinged casements. Obviously, if anything had been thrown out of the window, we would have seen it. I did leave the scene to go and fetch help, but my trusty Rolly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed. I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for one moment, sir. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir. Sir? Sir? Well, this is quite startling. Top hinge casement windows. That detail was not in the police report, Constable. Yes, sorry about that. I must have been a little drowsy. You cannot excuse your sins with drowsiness every time, Constable. Yes, I can. And I just fall asleep for like 5 hours. No, sir. Sorry, but what exactly is a top hinge casement window? And you cannot excuse your ignorance with such trite remarks, my learned friend. Of course, sorry. I found it, Mr. Naruhodo. Cast your mind back to the windows in Mr. and Mrs. Garrett's room. Alright, I'll try. Hey, I remembered it. So the window opens in order to allow air to circulate inside the house. But as it's a top hinge casement window, it swings open along the upper edge, you see. I'm glad you rectified your ignorance. A casement window's most prominent feature is its stay, a metal bar which prevents the window from being opened beyond a certain amount. It prevents it opening. This is all news to me. Absolutely correct, sir. In other words, if a book or knife were to have been thrown out through the window, open the window, it would have clattered against the pane and fallen straight down to the pavement below, sir. No. You see the problem then? Good, your education in windows is complete. There was never any possibility of either the book or the knife traveling 15 yards over the road. That is, unless the window pane had been shattered. Something we discontinued already. That can't be! Did you see that, Rolly? That young Japanese man just collapsed in agony. He yelled and died. Oh yes, my darling, I saw it. I saw how he crumbled before me. Oh, Rolly, you're too strong. You're so strong. They're too lovey-dovey. How is this happening? I haven't even started the cross-examination yet, and already my argument's been destroyed. Counsel, if you could drag yourself upright again, court awaits your cross-examination. My lord. Oh good, another desperate situation. Oh boy! I can't wait. I can't wait to get destroyed by the judge. This case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garrett's house. Believe me, a London Bobby is good for his word. How can you say that for certain? A very good question, sir. And the answer is this. It has the noble founding principles of the force written on it as a reminder to us policemen of our sworn duty. He showed us that before, didn't he? Did he? I can't say I remember. To patrol the streets of London town and uphold the peace of the common man. It's what the job's all about. And that is why I can stand here today beside my long-suffering wife and tell you Bobby's good for his word. While rubbing my tired eyes admittedly. Sir? Oh, Rolly, you're so manly. I mean, do I talk like that since he's got the freaking thing in his mouth? So it's like, yes, sir, it's me. I'm your boy. It's me, Rolly. Oh, Pat. Oh, Rolly. No, none of this is what I meant. I mean, how can you say for certain that this case has nothing to do with Mr. Garradeb or Mrs. Garradeb? I see, sir. You should have said so earlier, sir. Yes. Well, so could you answer the question? That was a waste of time, then. Absolutely, sir. I will answer it to the fullest of my ability, sir. There was a surprising reason why Mr. and Mrs. Garradeb, the domestic dispute, can't be related to this case. But before I get into that side, just one thing. Yes? I very much like you and all your countrymen to understand the great British institution of Scotland Yard. So I hope you'll take back some tales of us London bobbies and how we uphold our guiding principles. I wasn't planning on going back just yet. I've only just arrived here. So to that end, sir, I'd be happy to lend you my warrant card for your personal. Per usual. But I must warn you, you won't be able to get through without shedding a few coins and tears. Thank you, I'll try. Alright, a small folding wallet identifies the London bobbies and contains the rules of conduct to which they must adhere. But before I continue on, I know what you say about the top hinge casements. I know, they're pretty epic. I just want to see what it says here. Policeman A will strive to preserve the peace within its allotted beat, and 2. A patrol officer is expected to walk 20 miles around his beat every day for the furtherance of community relations. 20 miles? That's a lot of miles. Alright, any crimes fall under the jurisdiction of the beat in which they are discovered. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detective.
Hold it!
Casements, by which you mean they don't open fully, is that correct? Yes, sir. They're just there to allow a bit of air through the house, you see, so they're restricted as to how much they open. And therefore, anything thrown out the window from inside the room would simply strike the pane and fall to the street below. For clarity, allow me to mark the map. Here is the location where objects would have fallen. Yes. Directly opposite the scene of the crime, on the other side of the rather wide road. Would it have been so hard for somebody to mention this top hitch casement thing before? Well, I have another question for you, Constable. And what would that be, sir? How do you even know? Why would you have any idea what sort of windows Mr. and Mrs. Garradeb's house is furnished with? Ah, well, sir, that's very simple. You see, I helped with the investigation yesterday. Oh. Then why is she acting like this? Do you have something to add, Mrs. Beat? Sorry. You look, well, delighted. Is there some particular reason for that? Hey, Alex Gamer, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Oh, I was just remembering, that's all. We really were so lucky. Lucky? What do you mean lucky? Well, of course, I feel terrible for the poor woman who was attacked. Don't misunderstand me, please. But we were just so lucky it didn't happen on Rolly's beat. It was so close, you know. Oh, I hadn't realized. Oh, yes, that straight Briar Road. That's the boundary between Rolly's beat and the next one. Pat is gonna blow this wide open. But Pat is the lovey-dovey one, and Rolly's gonna hold her hand and say, "My sweet." Isn't that right, my love? Hey, Lem the friend, welcome to the stream. How do you do? Constable Beat. I'm just eating my, Oh, Yes, that's right. I'm alive still. Dang it. That's the reason I was helping out with interviewing the occupants of the Garrett household yesterday. Their house is on my beat, you see, sir. Hey Arthur, how you doing? That really was cutting it close then. Constable, I wonder if you could clarify something. I'll take out this book that I stole. If the Garrett household is on your beat, does that mean that the pavement next to it is as well? Outside Mr. Garrett's house? Yes, ma'am. The pavement of on that side of the road is a part of my beat. I see. I was unaware of that. Just think, if the woman had been attacked just on the other side of Briar Road, we would never have been able to go for that meal to celebrate our wedding anniversary. But that's the life of a Bobby, after all. But how you do, Arthur? How you do? How you do, everybody in chat? I hope everybody in chat is doing okay. I do apologize, as I came back from work and I got the job tires. Like after trying to find a job for 2 years and finally getting one, it's like, oh yeah, I remember this feeling. It's called I'm freaking tired, but no worries. I want to play game. I want to play game before I sleep tonight. Extraordinary people are Bobbies, tirelessly working for the benefit of all Londoners. Do you know what I think? I think it was the good Lord's way of rewarding my Rolly for all his hard work. What, a woman dying? Oh, she died, and it wasn't on Rolly's beat. Thank the Lord for killing this random woman. I love... Don't you think so, my darling? That must be it, Pat, my love. That must be it. I think perhaps we should make sure we have that information officially on record. Leave it to me, Mr. Naruhodo. I'll take care of it immediately. The case file. The pavement where the victim was found lies just outside Constable Beat's beat. Constable Beat's beat. Beat's beat. Beat, beat, beat. Boop, 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 boop. The border of which runs down the middle of Briar Road. And now it's my turn, I think. I think I can. So let's see. Reporting Officer Rolly Beat. Okay. Seems like it's the same thing, except the description has changed. What's wrong with Pat? Why yell at Pat? Come on. Obviously, if anything had been thrown out the window, we would have seen it. But according to my notes here, the sun had gone down already and it was dark. Oh, but Rolly and I were strolling along, gazing at the night sky and looking for our lucky star. The anime lucky star. Sorry? The star that will guide us to eternal happiness. Can it guide you to answer the question? If a flaming book had cut across the sky in front of us, it would have lit up like a shooting star. I could really use a wish right now. Wish right now. Wish right now. Can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky like shooting stars? Pat Rolly Beat for trolling Beat. Oh, so that. How did I not know Pat from trolling Beat? What? And if I see the shooting star, I would have made a wish upon it. Let Rolly be an inspector, I would have said. 3 times at least. Of course, what with the smog and everything, we couldn't actually see any stars. In short, are you trying to say that neither a book nor a knife crossed the sky before you? Yes, sir, that is correct, sir. As sure as the night sky in London is starless, sir. It certainly seems like they're telling the truth. And then we saw the poor woman fall to the ground, so we ran straight over to help her. I did leave the scene to go and fetch help, but my trusty Rolly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed. Yes, you said that you went to a nearby police box to fetch another officer. That's right, yes. If it had been on Rolly's beat, I would have known exactly where I was going, of course. Don't feel bad, my love. You can't be expected to know the location of every police box on every beat. So Rolly told me the way, only I sort of got a little lost on the way. Patricia, my darling, that's why I love you. Your terrible sense of direction is bewitching to me. I love it when you get lost. Keep being lost every time I gotta find you. Oh, I love you very much for getting lost.
Oh, Pat. Oh, Rolly.
Oh, please.
So I suppose I was gone for about 15 minutes. But like I said, my Rolly was at the scene the whole time, making sure nothing was disturbed. I was off duty at the time, of course, but the true Bobby is never really off duty, sa. I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for one moment, sa. Nothing straight to report on that front, sa. Nothing to report. That's correct, sa. I had my eyes wide open the entire time, never looked away for a second. And so, does she? Her eyes never look away for a second. They're just twinkling. She had surgery to make her eyes look like that. Don't get surgery to change your pupils, okay? Do not do that. That will be bad. Your eyeballs will look cool, but is it worth being blind your whole life? Yes. No one else approached the scene and nothing was removed from it. I can swear to that on the yard's honor, sir. Really? That seems a little strange. Beg your pardon, sir? Strange, sir? Seems altogether regular to me. This burnt copy of The Lion's Pride was originally in the garret of household. So the question remains, how did it find its way into the hands of the victim? Can you shed any light on that, seeing as you were at the scene of the crime the entire time? Surgery at this point in time? Oh, it's easy. First, you grab your Yu-Gi-Oh cards and then stab them in the face. And if it all goes well, you got mini paper cuts. Now have fun. But don't do that. Could it be a different copy, saw? One that just happened to be burned as well? Even if that were possible, why would the victim have been gripping a book like that in her hand? As we can see from this photographic print, she had a bag over her shoulder. Well, sir, that book was in a lady's hand from the moment we arrived at the scene. Is that so? There's something about this statement that's not sitting right with me. The two mysteries of how that knife ended up in her back and how that book ended up in her hand. There must be some common thread between them. Okay, so that last one has got to be something. Oh, wait, never mind. She's asking me something. Oh my goodness, Patricia's asking me something. I'm gonna do the Patricia's asking me something dance. Yeah. Dance concluded. Can I ask you something, please, Mr. Lawyer, sir? Oh, yes, of course. You're doubting us, aren't you? I can tell with my stare. What? I wasn't really, I mean, what's she doing? Please, just because I'm a woman, it doesn't make my testimony any less valuable. You might just see me as the wife of a policeman, but I'm a woman and my word I am. I really don't remember ever suggesting that I doubted you. No excuses, I don't want to hear it. My voice will be heard. My lord, you'll let me speak, won't you? Yes, Mrs. Beat, I will allow you to supplement your testimony if you so desire. Sometimes the path of least resistance is the sage one. That was a very loud mutter. I heard that. That Japanese man thinks a policeman's wife word counts for nothing, does he? Well, watch out, sir. I might let you get away with something like that, but my Rolly won't. Duly noted, Mrs. Beat. Please, I humbly ask you to continue. What could she possibly be about to say, I wonder? This is about to happen. Something's about to happen. I know what I saw. My eyes never let me down. My sense of direction is a little off sometimes, though. Mrs. B, nobody is questioning what you've told us. I saw what I did that evening. I saw it clearly. The little Eastern man with the whiskers and the funny curved back slinking away from the scene. And I know what I didn't see as well. I didn't see any flaming books or knives flying through the sky. All very clear. You also mentioned something about having a poor sense of direction. Oh yes, well, that's a little embarrassing, really. I'm always ending up at the wrong place when I made arrangements to meet Rolly. I'm always ending up at the wrong place when I've made arrangements to meet Rolly. He gets ever so cross. And now look at him. He looks all sick.
Excuse me.
Constable Beat, is there a problem? No, sir, no problem, sir. Did your wife's remarks just now bring something to mind, perhaps? Well, in a way, yes, sir. I was just remembering that the same thing happened that evening is all. Huh? You mean Mrs. B lost her way on the night of the incident? Well, you see, I sent her off to find a police box in the next beat over from mine, but she was gone a fair bit longer than what I was expecting. I thought she'd be back inside 10 minutes, but my darling was gone a good 15. Oh, Rolly, you're such a tease. But the reason I was so long because of the bouquet, silly. The bouquet? Sorry, what bouquet are you talking about? Oh, it was a present for our wedding anniversary. Rolly's so romantic. He saved it for with farthings and halfpennies he found in the gutter while doing his work. Yes, how romantic. I'd forgotten all about it until just now. Had you, my darling? Oh, yes. But that was just between us. No talking about it to anyone else, darling. You have to promise. Really? Oh. Wait, what was that all about? Constable B looked very obviously troubled during that exchange. I'm afraid I can't offer any useful insight, Mr. Naruhodo. But I'm quite sure of one thing. We have to ask Mrs. Beat about the bouquet. Mrs. Beat, this bouquet you just mentioned, I'd like you to add details about it to your testimony, please. Oh, really? Yes, I'd love to. No, the thing is, fandom, the thing is, it's just really ridiculous how she's just like, oh, by the way, I want more to say. Yak, 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 yak. Guilty. What? I dropped my bouquet and ended up losing my way for a while. You ended up dropping your bouquet? Wait, what? You mean you dropped the bouquet at the scene of the crime? Yes, that's right. Oh, I was so upset. When we ran over and saw it was a woman with a knife in her back, I was so shocked I dropped the bouquet Rolly gave me. It was in a dark spot where the streetlights weren't casting any light, so I didn't notice at first. You wouldn't know. Okay. And then you went to the police box to report it to the policeman whose beat it was on. Yes, and I came back to the scene of the crime together with the other constable, you see. That's when I spotted my bouquet again. But the funny thing was, when I went to pick it up, it was nowhere near the victim's body at all. In case you need reminding, Mrs. Beat, the victim is not deceased. I was all flustered for a moment before I heard a voice calling me from the other side of the road. Your husband, presumably? Like, heck no. That's right, silly me. I got over to the wrong side of the street. Why can't boomerangs kill people? Although I'm going to blame the bouquet this time. I can't think how it got there. I really can't. So the bouquet somehow moved from one side of Briar Road to the opposite. Curious indeed. Isn't it? But the worst of it is, I forgot to pick the bouquet up again when we left the scene. That beautiful rose Rolly bought me, with that change from the gutter he spent so long collecting. So he's been stealing change by bouquet. Do you perhaps mean this sorry solitary rose? Oh, yes, that's it. That's the bouquet Rolly bought me for our anniversary. Opens a change he found in the gutter. Maybe just call it a rose. Perhaps tell us, Lord Van Zieks, where did you come by the flower? According to the report by the police officer in charge of the crime scene investigation, it was found on the edge of the pavement in front of the Garrett household. In front of the Garrett's house? Although it wasn't noticed until the morning as it lay where the street lamps cast no light. It was believed to be of no relevance to the case since it was found on the opposite side of the thoroughfare. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Could I have it back now, please?
No, I think for good measure, this rose should be added to the court record as evidence. Aww, when your rose turns out to be evidence, it's evidence. Let's see, a present for Patricia B from her husband Rolly. The shock of seeing the stab victim caused Mrs. B to drop the rose where she stood. But it's a symbol of our love. Now it's a symbol of law. I want it back after the trial. Do you hear me? I want it back. Good grief. Rest assured that I will do my very best not to forget Mrs. B. I just forgot now. Who are you? I didn't take my eyes off the crime scene for one moment, sir. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir. There we go, nothing to report. Also, I was dead for a long time. That's correct, sir. I had my eyes wide open the entire time, never looked away for a second. No one else approached the scene and nothing was removed from it. I can swear to that on the yard's honor, sir. Sorry, I think I actually did die from that explosion. That thing killed me for about a couple of seconds. Really, that seems a little strange. Beg your pardon, sir? Strange, sir? Seems altogether regular to me. Sir? This burned copy of the Lion's Pride was originally in the Gareth household, so the question remains, how did it find its way into the hands of the victim? Can you shed any light on that, seeing as you were at the scene of the crime the entire time? Could it be a different copy, sir? One that just happened to be burned as well? Didn't we talk about that before? Even if that were possible, why would the victim have been gripping a book like that in her hand? As we can see from this photographic print, she had a bag over her shoulder. Well, sir, that book was in a lady's hand from the moment we arrived at the scene. Is that so? There's something about this statement that's not sitting right with me. The two mysteries of how that knife ended up in her back and how that book ended up in her hand. There must be some common thread between them. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, what do you make of all this? Yes. The whole idea of an invisible attacker has been troubling me all along. But I believe I'm starting to get a picture of what really happened here now. The fourth book that had no business being at the scene of the crime made me sure that Mrs. Gareth was hiding something from us. But it's becoming increasingly clear that someone else has been hiding something from us as well. I think I may already be armed with everything I need to strike the decisive blow here. This time is going to expose the whole truth about this mysterious affair. Affair. So let's see. Naruhodo said it was which line that was way off? Oh, here it is. Didn't take his eyes off the crime scene for one moment. Could it be for this one or not really? No, that's not gonna help out at all. He didn't take his eyes off this crime scene for one moment. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir. He didn't take his eyes off the scene. I gotta be careful what I choose. Otherwise, things are about to be really, really weird. Is this one that he says he doesn't know for sure? So let me do a quick save right now. And let's see, do I present evidence at this case, at this part right here? Actually, chat, before we move on, I'm gonna take a quick restroom break. I'll be right back in about 2 to 3 minutes. I appreciate your patience and I'll be right back. Wait, who's Joe? And chat, we are back. As a reminder, chat, I am available for weddings, bar mitzvahs, and birthday parties. For about $50 a minute, you can hire me to become your entertainer, and I'm pretty sure as a good entertainer, I make a great piñata. Hey Rush, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. How you doing? All right. So he didn't take his eye off the crime scene for one moment. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir. He says that, but the one odd thing is the book. Nothing strange to report on that front, but what else is off? There has to be something right now. The shock of seeing the stab victim cause Mrs. B to drop the... Wait, so if the bouquet did fall, what do I want my shirt to be about? What are you talking about? It's very stylish paper the flower's wrapped in, isn't it? It's just an old newspaper, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, I suppose it's because I'm not used to seeing English print. It looks so exotic to me. It says right here that 21 and married, a new thing on the Learning Channel. I love that show. I see. Is something wrong? Oh, no, I was just thinking that if you wrapped a stone-baked sweet potato in English newspaper, it might look like some sort of fancy cake. Short. You said shirt. You wrote shirt. Read your message. You said shirt. Susato-san, you do love your cakes. I do love my cakes. An English rose. It's such a beautiful flower. This is a rose, is it? I've never seen one before. Do you not take an interest in flowers, Mr. Naruhodo? I wouldn't say that exactly, but I do know 3 types at least. Gosh, 3? Yes, plum blossom, peach blossom, and cherry blossom. Perhaps you should consider branching out. Good joke. Learning some that aren't fruit-based tree-based for, you know, fruit tree-based, for example. So let's see. Wait. So I don't know. I don't know. Is this for the? I don't know. You make it. I don't know. I don't know much about these things. It's all up to you. It's your thing, not mine. So let's see. The shock of seeing the stab victim caused Mrs. B to drop the rose where she stood. But wait, there's an issue though. If she saw the dead body, wouldn't we see the rose too?
Objection.
There we go. Where's the rose? You claim, Constable Beat, there was nothing to report in the 15 or so minutes you were guarding the scene. But that cannot be. Sleepy boy. What do you mean to say, Sparkle? In your testimony just now, Mrs. B, you explained to the court that when you arrived back at the scene of the crime with the policeman assigned to that beat, the bouquet you have dropped at the victim's side was no longer anywhere nearby.
Objection.
Yes, on the opposite side of Briar Road to where the victim was attacked. But considering the size of that meager bouquet, if a single sorry bloom could be so described, I don't know how these bobbies get paid so little that they only could afford 1 rose. How poor can you be? So wait. So in a way, is Rolly Beat this game's Gumshoe? They both get paid so badly that they can't afford much. Gumshoe can afford his ramen. Rolly Beat can afford only 1 rose. Are roses that expensive though? That must be one very expensive rose. No doubt it was blown in the wind across the street, back into the gutter where it belongs. Yeesh. Meager?
Objection.
Ouch. But if that were the case, why did Constable B not testify to the fact? In this book I stole, it says no one else approached the scene and nothing was removed from it. Constable B swore to that on Scotland Yard's honor. But the bouquet belonged to me. It has nothing to do with the case. That's why Rolly didn't mention it, I'm sure.
No, because sadly, it's not only your bouquet we're talking about here. More than one thing in this case is mysteriously the wrong way round. What are you talking about? Think about it. Besides Mrs. Beat's bouquet, there's Mr. Garredeb's book. Mr. Garredeb's copy of The Lion's Pride, which was thrown out of the window by his wife, would have struck the pane of the casement window and landed here on the west side of the street. And yet, it was actually found here on the opposite side of the road in the victim's hand. Meanwhile, according to the testimony we've heard, Mrs. Beat Bouquet should have been dropped here at the scene of the crime on the east side of the street. But in fact, it was actually found here on the opposite side of the road in front of Mr. and Mrs. Garredeb's house. So somebody moved the body. So that means somebody's actually being sus. There's no logical explanation for those things, unless somebody deliberately moved them. That's right. I agree with you. What are you trying to say as I choke my love? The way you're talking, it sounds like you think my Rolly's done something wrong. Don't you listen to a word that scrawny lawyer says? Wittering on about books and bouquets. Why should we care? It's nitpicking, that's what it is. Oh, good. Mrs. Garredeb's come around. You might call it nitpicking, Mrs. Garredeb, but deliberately meddling with the scene of a crime is a criminal offense. It's called, being a bad person. Tampering, Mr. Naruhodo. That's right, being a bad person. Oh, But the person responsible for this tampering cannot admit to it, for a very subtle but compelling reason.
Objection!
Tampering? You've barely heard the term before. Tell us, my learned friend, who would possibly have had cause to carry out such an elaborate deception? Tell us, my learned friend, how do you spell tampering? T A is tampering. Yes, there is someone who tampered with the scene of the crime that evening. All the evidence and all the testimony points to that one particular person. Counsel, I must demand that you substantiate this conjecture. Who are you saying is responsible for tampering with the scene of the crime? It was you. It could be Mrs. Garredeb, or it could be Patricia Beat. I'm gonna do a little save right here. There's only one person who could have moved the body, but the thing is, Mrs. Garredeb could not have known. She wouldn't have not known, but the person who saw it, Patricia, could have. So I'm gonna say Patricia. No. There's only one person who could have done this. Oh, wait. Okay, so I got that the wrong way around. So it has to be Mrs. Garredeb then. Okay. So it has to be Mrs. Garredeb.
Take that!
Wait, no. Oh, wait a second. I'm thinking this the wrong way, aren't I? I'm thinking this the wrong way. I'm an idiot, chat. I'm an idiot.
Take that!
It was the police officer who was doing it. Because Patricia was away and Mrs. Garredeb was in the building. So who else was out there looking at everything? The freaking police officer. I was not thinking, chat. I was not thinking, and my brain was turned off for that moment. I am very sorry about that. My brain was at 0%. It needed to recharge for a bit. There's a hamster running in there. It's working. Obviously, there's only one person it could have been. Constable Rolly Beat, it was you. What? A policeman? A member of Scotland Yard? What nonsense. Why would my roly-poly do something like that? There's no one straighter than my husband. No one straighter, you say? No Bobby works more tirelessly for the people of London. Have you ever played that game, Hamster and Your Sloth? It's a weird game. Mrs. B, you said in your testimony that your husband asked you to go to a nearby police box to fetch the officer on duty. The 15 minutes that you were absent from the scene is the only opportunity anyone had to tamper with it. You're making it up. It's all nonsense. It's all lies. Sparkle, sparkle. What about that Japanese man with the whiskers? I bet it was him. He did it.
Objection.
If that was true, Constable B would have seen him do it. Oh. And forgive me for pointing it out, but when you dropped your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, it was after the defendant had fled the scene. Well.
Objection.
First you make accusations about the landlord and his wife, and now you incriminate a policeman as well. But your accusations lack one very important thing. Evidence. You claim the crime scene was tampered with. But there is only one reason anyone would commit such a reckless crime: to hide something. That's right, he's right. But my husband and I just happened to be there, that's all. So why would we have anything to hide? It doesn't make sense. You've offered no motive for this alleged tampering, and until you do, your accusations are nothing but empty threats. Constable Beat had a very good reason for wanting to tamper with the scene of the crime. That's the key to this entire affair. Mr. Naruhodo, have you managed to solve this mystery? Let's solve this mystery. Counsel, you have made a very serious accusation against a London police officer. If you are mistaken, I'm sure I need not point out that your reputation as a lawyer will be damaged. With that stark warning in mind, you will now explain to the court the motive for this alleged tampering. Yes, my lord. Whew. Constable Beat's motive for tampering with the crime scene was to hide where the victim fell, where the bouquet fell, where the book fell. Was to hide where the victim fell or where the book fell, but why would the book? It has to be where the victim fell, right? I'm going to give that a try. Where the victim fell to the ground. That is what this Bobby had to cover up at all costs. What? Where the victim fell? You mean where she was attacked? I love how she just put him back up and was like, "Here, go back up, my darling." Well, what are you talking about? We told you at the very start, didn't we? On the pavement of Briar Road, we saw it happen, remember? It was right here, as if anyone didn't already know. That's certainly what everybody has been led to believe, but in fact, that isn't where the victim was stabbed at all. What? What? I'm beginning to wonder where this tumultuous trial will end, Counsel. If that's your assertion, then the court is dying to know, my Nipponese friend. Where are you proposing that the crime actually took place that evening? Right here. If the body was moved over here, it's gotta be here, across the street. But that's on the opposite side of the road? I don't understand. On the evening in question, Mr. Garadev's book fell directly down from the open window above, and your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, never moved at all. What did move was the scene of the crime itself.
Good gracious!
Objection.
Perhaps you haven't been listening to the ample
Testimony the court has heard. Well, these witnesses both saw the moment the attack took place. By the way, if you've been playing with... Oh. That's right, I saw it with my own eyes. It was 5 o'clock in the evening and already dark. There was a typical London fog on the ground. When you saw the incident unfold and ran to the victim's aid. That was actually on the west side of Briar Road. No, that's not true. It can't have been. By the way, chat, if you've been playing with the voice changer options, just remember I can't hear them, but you do. If I ever sound weird, do say so, because I can't even hear what I sound like. Constable Beat then arranged for you to be absent for a while by sending you for help. And during the 15 minutes you were away, he transplanted the crime scene. He moved all the things shown in this print. The victim herself, the 4 books. He moved everything, in fact, to the pavement on the east side of Briar Road, including the book that fell
From the left side of the road. But the constable overlooked one thing. What? What did he overlook? The bouquet, I presume?
Exactly. The prosecution told the court just a few minutes ago about the discovery of the rose bouquet. Lord Van Ziek said it wasn't noticed until the morning as it lay where the street lamps cast no light. Yes, it couldn't be seen in the dark, obviously. Which is why it was only the bouquet that was found in its original position on the pavement on the west side of Briar Road. And that is the defense's theory about what really happened that evening. How do you respond, Constable Rolly Beat? Why does he look serious? Why does he have that pose where anime characters are about to go crazy? They always look at the front they always look like that in the camera. Here, I'll show an example. Where is it? Anime face evil meme. I spelled the meme MEEM, if that makes any sense. It's where they face the front of the camera. Where is it? Anime character facing camera. I know how to spell camera. There. Oh, I found it. I wonder if I can just show it real quick. The faces that characters make when they're about to go flipping insane. And take a look at this. He's making that face right there. He's about to make that face where he's about to go insane. It's about to happen. Just wait for it. Oh. Well, I'm very sorry, but this thing in my mouth tastes really good. I didn't mean to nod off again, but I haven't slept properly in a month. Did I miss anything important? Oh, Rolly. It isn't true, is it? What that lawyer said is all lies, isn't it? There were so many references in that picture. I think I can name some of them. The third one at the top right, that is Fire Force. The middle one, that's Naruto. The middle right, that's Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know any of the other ones, though. I know it is because you're the most upstanding, righteous man I know. I had a dream, a terrible dream. All the things I did that night. Everything come out. Everything exposed. Huh? Huh? Only it seems... it wasn't a dream at all. Good golly. Is he about to reveal himself? Oda, what on earth is the meaning of all this? Oh, Rolly, why would you do something like this? For the lols. Moving your corpses is a criminal offense, isn't it? Wishing the victim dead should be one too. Constable, explain yourself. Why would you do this? As a respected member of Scotland Yard, your duty is to protect the good people of London town. I can't say, sir. What? I really am ever so sorry about all this. For damaging the Yard's reputation, for everything. I have a possible explanation. For why, on that particular evening, Constable B felt compelled to move to the scene of the crime. I can think of one reason. What? How could you possibly know? You, a foreigner, presuming to understand the mind of a Scotland Yard policeman. And yet Lord Van Zieks is This foreigner who has uncovered the startling truth of the matter thus far. By the way, Chad, how's everybody doing so far? We've reached past an hour and a half. Hope everybody's doing okay. I believe it would be beneficial to the court to hear this extraordinary young lawyer's theory. Counsel for the defense, if you please. Yes, my lord. Now then, I think you had better show us some evidence. At once, my lord. England, Japan, it makes no difference where you come from. Human emotions are the same. Except mine, I'm weird. And I think I have a fairly good idea of the feelings behind this man's actions. What gives away the motive for Constable Beat's unthinkable actions? Let's see. It has to be the rose? The shock of seeing the stabbed victim caused Mrs. B to drop the rose where she stood. Wait, what do you mean the rose? Wait, did you just give me the answer? Wait, why'd you give me the answer if that's really the answer right there? That can't be the answer. If it is, then that's cheating. I'm gonna do save just real quick. Dad, I don't want no cheating. Oh, come on, don't do that next time. No backseat gaming, come on. That was backseat. I realize that I'm a foreigner in this land. It was a guess, okay? My eyes hurt doing that. My eyes hurt doing that. I realize that I'm a foreigner in this land. I have only just arrived from Japan, which is why all this info about London's so-called bobbies is completely new to me. I've learned that, though, honorable patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world, for example. Keeping the peace, looking after the citizens on his beat in all kinds of ways. There's no doubt that the young Bobby is charged with a great deal to do each day, certainly. But fandom, you're okay, though. You're cool. You're cool. We're all cool. Are we cool? But for Constable Beat, the day in question was special. Special? How? On account of this bouquet, my lord. Oh yes, it was our very first wedding anniversary. Constable Beat had worked so hard to be able to afford this simple gift for his wife. One rose! He worked so hard, and he can only afford one rose! And he works for like 20 hours a day! He walks 20 miles, lighting all the lights, extinguishing them, doing his... No wonder. Like, I go crazy. I go crazy. And was so looking forward to taking her out on a celebratory meal. When he and Mrs. Beat stumbled upon a crime along Briar Road. When he saw that shadowy figure through the fog collapse on the pavement ahead of him, what must have gone through the man's mind? Oh, that was... But sad, just on that one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Mrs. B puts up with a lot being married to a Bobby like me. I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care. I gave him a different accent. He's not tired anymore. This is the warrant card that Constable Beat offered to lend to me earlier. Inside, among the rules for patrolling policemen, it says, when a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Aha! Constable Beat? Is that not the reason why you moved the whole scene of the crime that day? He moved it so he would skip work. Imagine that, trying to move the work so you can skip the work. Yes. Everything you said, it's all right. So that's it. It was all to do with the boundary of your beat. Oh. Exactly. To summarize, the incident actually occurred on Constable Beat's beat. Good gracious. Constable, do you realize the gravity of what you have done? We will have your head on a plate for this. It was the first time since I became a copper that I ever cursed God. Cursing Arceus? You never curse Arceus, okay? Oh, holy Arceus. Stay close to me, Pat. The criminals could still be lurking somewhere. Wait, is one of my viewers lurking to kill? As we ran over to the scene, I had every intention of doing my duty as a police officer. We've got to report this to the station as quickly as possible. But then it dawned on me. I realized where we were, where the victim was lying, and what that meant for me. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Wait, is it Arceus or Arceus? I say I either hear Arceus or Arceus, but I say Arceus. It's however you pronounce it, but I've never heard Arceus, because when you say the K, it's not Arceus. There's no K in Arceus. Why here? Why did this have to happen here? And why tonight of all nights? With the big ball and I got my dress ready. Why? 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 It's a copper's job to guard the scene of the crime, so I told Pat she had to go to the nearest police box and fetch whoever was on duty there. It was then when I opened my mouth to speak, it just came out. I couldn't believe the words that were coming out of my own mouth. This is the next beat to mine, Pat. So you have to go to the police box that covers it. Turn right along Meerstrom Street and then... What a sad story, though. Murder sucks. Can we just ban murders? Can we just outlaw murders? Like, you just can't kill anybody, otherwise you'll die too. Like, if you kill anybody, you're dead. Just that's it. Like, stop. It's just friendly fire. Oh. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, Constable. I just wanted, just that one night, to take my Patricia out for dinner. Oh, Rolly. Just that one night. You knew that if the incident was on your beat, your evening of celebration would be ruined, and so you decided to move the entire crime scene outside your jurisdiction. Just across the street to the east pavement of Briar Road, which falls under the neighboring beat's care. You see, I thought, well, I was sure the victim was dead, you see. I beg your pardon? Oh, of course he did. Otherwise, my Rolly would have never left the poor woman on the freezing cold pavement. Oh, I see your meaning now. But God got me back from my sins, didn't he? That's why I missed the rose I bought for Pat. Oh no, Rolly, that was all my fault. I should have never dropped it in such a dark place. I'm so sorry, Rolly. And can you tell us, Constable? How many books did you move from one side of the road to the other in total? Oh, 4 it was. Yes, definitely. 4. 3 of them dropped by Mrs. Natsume, and the 4th being the one that fell from the window upstairs in the Gyarados household, of course. But what made you place that book in the victim's hand? When all the others were scattered haphazardly around, I mean. Oh, well, that's because that's how I found it. How did you found it? What do you mean? When we first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand. You're sure it was this book, The Lion's Pride, that the victim was holding? Oh yes, no doubt about it, interesting. It was in the victim's hand. I thought it was an open and shut case at the time, you see. There were only the two people at the scene, and Pat and me both saw it happen. However, which way you looked at it, it had to be the fellow who ran off who done it. I thought. I couldn't see the harm, really. I didn't think moving it all over the road would make a jot of difference. I suppose this is it for me now. I've had it. My lord. Yes, Lord Van Zieks? I believe that concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses. Constable, you may withdraw. Yes, sir. Mr. Prosecutor, sir? What will become of my Rolly? What will happen to him? For now, you are free to go home. The police will contact you in due course. Please, don't punish my husband. This was all my fault. It's because I'm always moaning at him for coming home late. Leave it now, Pat. Let's go home. I'm tired. All right then, my love. One last thing, Constable. Sir? Let this be a lesson to you. In a criminal investigation, every detail matters, however insignificant it may seem to you. Yes, sir. Carve that lesson into your mind. And never again make the mistake of tampering with the scene of a crime. Wait, does that mean he keeps the job? Never again? Sir, you mean to say? Leave, now. This trial's not yet over. Sir! Aww. Well, quite a startling revelation, I must say. Whoever thought of a third party transplanting the entire scene of a crime like that? Indeed, my lord. Nevertheless, there are some immutable facts here, principally that the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume, is the only person who could have possibly have committed this crime.
Objection.
No, I disagree. Now that we know the true scene of the incident, there is someone else. Another person who could be responsible for the knife in the victim's back. Forgive me for being presumptuous, but I believe the prosecution is probably well aware of this possibility already. Lord Van Zieks, is this true? Very well. Name the person if you will, and if further investigation is warranted. The prosecution has no objection to the trial continuing. You will name this other person who could have perpetrated the crime. Oh my goodness, it's her! The Garrett lady! The defense would once again like to request a cross-examination of a new witness, my lord. Once again? My assistant made the same request earlier. In order to finally reveal the truth about this case. It's imperative that we cross-examine juror number 4, Mrs. Joan Garadeb. Me? Oh, dearie me.
Objection.
That request has already been denied.
Objection.
But the situation is very different now. Mrs. Garadeb, answer me this. What do you want now, you little toad? I am a human? At the time of the incident, you were engaged in a violent argument with your husband, Mr. Joan Garadeb. In the course of the argument, a minor house fire was ignited. And to clear the smoke from the room, your husband opened the window, not a room, that looks out over Briar Road. Imagine opening a room. How do you do that? Well, what of it? You threw this book at your husband when he was cornered with his back against the window. Upon striking the pane of the open top-hinged casement window, the book plummeted directly down, finding its way to what we now know to be the true scene of the incident. Yes, and as I said, what of it? During the argument, you were beside yourself with rage. With rage, as such you threw not just books, but anything you could lay your hands on. So, let me ask you one more time, Mrs. Garadeb. This knife, the one removed from the victim's back, have you really never laid eyes on it before? What is she gonna do? I don't recall it. Seriously? Am I supposed to remember everything I picked up and threw at my husband? And anyway, the man over there in all that regalia said members of the jury needed to testify, didn't he? Conveniently, yes.
Objection.
No, I have no recollection of saying that at all. Juror number 4. Oh. Is the edge roof of this game helping us out now? Make no mistake. Your jurors are not special in any way. You are not immune to the judicial process. You're not special. So she accidentally stabbed the victim when she threw the knife? That's what people are guessing right now, that the knife probably fell down and somebody else stabbed her with the knife, or maybe the knife did actually just stab somebody. Who knows? We're still trying to figure that out. If you know something about this knife, madame, let the truth come out. But that's just a common or garden knife. It could have come from anywhere. We have several like that at home. If one went missing, how would you expect me to know? What's that? Are you joking? What are you saying? Please, Mrs. Garrideb. Yeah, she's not helping herself. Now you listen to me. I refuse to believe all this nonsense. I couldn't bear the thought that I injured someone. Do you hear? I couldn't bear it. Oh, the poor woman. So yes, I want evidence. I want to see hard evidence if you're going to insist this be my fault. You're going to have to prove it to me that I threw that knife if that's what you think. Come along now, chop chop, do your worst. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, if I had evidence like that, believe me, I would have thrown it at her already, like that knife. Whoop. Then take the stand, juror. Oh, I didn't mean to open that. I'm just trying to stretch. The prosecution does not object to the defense's request to cross-examine this woman. Thank you, Lord Van Zeeks. I'm going to have to testify. Juror number 4, as I'm sure you will appreciate having observed it with your own eyes today. Witness testimony can lead to the most extraordinary truths being unearthed. Truths of which the witnesses themselves may not even have been aware. Oh, dearie me. So I demand your full and unadulterated testimony, Mrs. Garrideb. And mark my words, in this court of law today, we shall extract the truth. Do you concur, counsels? Certainly, my lord. Oh, that's what I'm hoping for, my lord. Ooh, music. Music. This is such a strange feeling. For the first time since arriving in this country, it actually feels real. Ooh. I'm here in the Old Bailey and I'm a lawyer. I'm a lawyer, man. Witness, state your name and occupation. Oh, yes, my name is Joan Garrideb, and I'm, I'm a juror and such like. It sounds like even she doesn't know if she's a housewife or a maid or what anymore. The court has decided your testimony is required in order to clarify matters in this case. Do you understand, madame? Yes, my lord. You will tell the court everything that took place in your household on the evening in question. And I warn you, do not attempt to hide the truth. Oh, dearie me. Chin up, Joni. Nothing to worry about now. Wait, is that the moon? What the flip? Where'd he come from? Where'd the freaking moon man come from? Oh, I didn't know you were here, John. Okay. Oh, look at her. Wasn't only you in the room that day, old thing, was it? Rather think I ought to testify as well, don't you? But, well, what about your knee, dear? Don't you worry about that. Hardly notice it. I'm not the sort of chap to leave a comrade to face disciplinary action alone. Oh, John. I presume you're John Garrideb? Yes, sir. Former second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment of the 4th.
Northumberland Fusilia, sir. Seen my fair share of action and now living the quiet life, as it were. The quiet life, where you're not engaged in an incendiary battle with your spouse on the day in question? Ah, well, yes. Quite. I believe this may represent a first in a proud history of the British court. Calling a juror to the witness stand is unprecedented. However, the court will hear your testimony now, juror number 4, and that of your husband. You will recount clearly and concisely the events in your home at the time of the incident in question. Sir, at once. Oh boy. We're getting somewhere, Ning. The Battle of Garadab. Yes, on the day you're referring to, the wife and I did have a bit of skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. Knocked the candlestick over and set fire to the carpet. Soon had it out though and got the window open. Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him. Plenty of knives around our place. Can't say I noticed if 1 or 2 went missing, I'm afraid. If that bally thing in the victim's back really was one of ours, you'll have a job proving it, I think. It sounds as though it was quite the battlefield in your household that evening. Although an entirely one-sided assault, it seems. The enemy caught us on the hop, sir. Had no choice but to dig in and take defensive measures. To be honest, if the enemy had kept shelling us for another minute, we had been toast. Of course, a veteran such as myself is only too aware that on every battlefield, you're just a gnat's whisker from death at any moment. Are we still talking about a martial quarrel here? Well, I must say I'm dubious that this testimony will shed any light on the origins of this jackknife. In combat, one's focus narrows such that surroundings are barely noticed. These witnesses may not be able to offer anything more than they have testified already. This may be a dead end. Bantiques may well be right. Well, whatever the chances, we only have this last cross-examination to uncover the truth, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, I'm afraid so. Very well, counsel. Begin your cross-examination. All right. Let's do it. Cross-examination. Yes, on the day you're referring to, the wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. The reason is what you told us yesterday, I believe. Yes, that's right. If I remember correctly, it all started because of a note that was tucked into the pages of a book belonging to Mr. Garadeb. A rather passionate note, in fact. But Mrs. Garadeb found a note discovering her husband's little secret. And she gave him a mighty number of slaps across the face for it too. What a sordid state of affairs. Hell on earth. I say, when a chap says he can't recall such things, it's common decency not to drag it all up. And besides, half of it was wide of the mark anyway. A likely story. These waters run very deep. And what transpired next after these multiple blows to the face? A boot to the head. Knocked the candlestick over and set fire to the carpet. Soon had it out, though, and got the window open. And the fire also spread to some items of furniture, didn't it? The bookcase, my armchair, anything of mine, really. Just so happens there was some bathwater. Bathwater? Gamer bathwater around that evening, so I sloshed out about to put it out. A most precarious situation you put yourself in. Ours is a 3-story townhouse on the west side of the street, where the water main isn't connected yet. Have to draw water from a public water dump during the day if you need any, you see. The lodgers are always moaning that they can't get any water at night, although that little mustache Japanese man buys water in bottles, I believe. The defendant, Mr. Natsume, you mean? Yes, he receives a stipend for his studies, you know, from his home country. Can you imagine being able to brew a pot of tea at all hours? He's obviously very well off. Have you actually seen the state of the man? I believe he uses all of his income to buy books. Well, anyway, the point is, I was able to douse the fire with water, fortunately enough. Ah, yes, public water. Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him. Even though the room was on fire?
As far as I was concerned at the time, it was more important to extinguish my anger than the flames. When a woman wants to throw, she must throw. That is most certainly not true of a Susato takedown, Mr. Naruhodo. How did she know I was thinking that? So, please cast your mind back and try to remember. Was a knife among the items that you threw at your husband that day? In all honesty, I don't recall. But I feel I must point out that I'm no monster. Let me see. Some bread, a cabbage, garlic, a towel, and a sponge.
By Jupiter.
A napkin?
Excuse me.
Excuse me, what's this about a napkin? Do you have something to add, sir? Mr. Garadeb. Don't shoot. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind? Nothing of any significance, no. Just that the barrage of projectiles the old thing launched in my direction was somewhat more solid than she implies. Books, bricks, and the fire poker I seem to recall. So you don't poke the fire, you poke the moon man. Ouch. And the woman's aim is uncanny. She landed a direct hit with every belly. Oh! Good grief, woman, we're not at home now. This is the court of law. Also, does he drink tea out of the pipe? She just put tea into the pipe. So you have tea flavored tobacco? Oh, dearie me. Ever so sorry, dear. What's she even doing with a teapot in here? Good question. Honestly, John, I would have never have thrown such things at you, obviously. We'll take a look at this then. How do you suppose that happened? Your pipe, sir? Had this thing in my hands as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out with one of her soft projectiles she did, yes. And when I went to pick the thing up, it was broken in two. I like to see a sponge do that sort of damage. I see, your pipe was broken. It would have never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Anyway, I've managed to bandage the thing up for now. You're one to exaggerate, aren't you, dear? I wonder what we should make of this account. Let's put it. We'll take it. We'll take every little change we can get. The defense believes Mr. Garadeb's remarks just now to be of great significance.
Objection.
This war veteran's words only tell us one thing. Betray a fiery wife and pipes, as well as hearts, may be broken. Sentimental wisdom, perhaps, but hardly worthy of adding to the formal testimony. Indeed, common sense, one might say. Might one? In that case, would you at least permit us to examine the pipe, sir? Well, I don't see why not. Oh, dearie me, there you go again, trying to ingratiate yourself with a young lady. Oh. Very well, the court will accept the gentleman's pipe as evidence. Alright, shall we? Just got a free pipe, let's go. Let's go look at that pipe. Oh, look at that pipe. Look at that pipe. Look at... Wait, what the... Wait, what's this? Oh, something just twinkled inside the chamber of the pipe there. Yes, I saw it. Something stuck in there, I think. Let's turn it over and give it a shake. Wait, what's this? It's a tiny fragment of metal. It looks like the tip of a blade or something. The tip of a blade? Surely it couldn't be. Tip of a knife. Ooh, tippity tip tip tap of a knife. Because when you remove this here, you see that the tip is gone. I hope I didn't speak out of turn, Naruhodo. I was just feeling rather disappointed for you that your request was turned down. Oh no, it's fine. Thanks to Susato-san, we have some new evidence to work with. We should examine it carefully. Well, thank you for that rebuttal, Mr. Garadeb. Now, if we could return to the crux of the matter. What can you tell the court about the knife used to attack the victim? I think we got it now. Oh. Hold on a second. Oh, there we go. What about this? The fragment of metal from your knife. Mr. Gyaradev, could I ask you to take a good look at this, please? You can ask, but I can't see a bally thing. You can't? Used to call me Deadeye Deb back in the regiment of course, but that was some time ago now. Even when I'm trying to enjoy a large print book by the fire these days. I struggle to tell a B from a D and a P from a Q, to be honest. Oh, he does. Dearie me, it's rather wearing being asked about every other letter and every other word. You must be very dizzy. What? What is that? A tiny scrap of metal? Yes, almost certainly from the tip of a blade. And what may appear at first to be just a tiny scrap is in fact a crucial piece of evidence. Interesting. And where did the defense come by this evidence? It was lodged in the chamber of Mr. Gyarados' pipe. My pipe, you say? By Jove, I wonder how that got there. Does he never look in there? And what precisely does this fragment of metal signify, Counsel? Are you suggesting that it is in some way related to the matter of the stabbing on Briar Road? Time to be serious. I am. What? When put together with another piece of evidence already in the court record, I believe this tiny fragment of metal will unravel the whole truth of the case, my lord. She's standing on a box. You appear rather confident in that extraordinary statement, Counsel. Very well then, present the pertinent evidence to the court. What evidence, when paired with this fragment of metal, allegedly reveals the truth of this entire case? Knife. Hey, Apple, knife! This is the knife that was found in the victim's back. If you look closely, you will see that there is a small piece of the tip of the blade that is missing. A common issue with the inferior blades sold at various unsavory street markets. Criminals who use them regularly leave the tips lodged in their victims' bones. And what of this particular knife? No doubt its tip has suffered a similar fate, now languishing somewhere near the spine of the victim.
Objection.
No, that's not the case. The tip of this particular knife's blade is the very fragment of metal we discovered in the chamber of the pipe. Wait, did he just like go back dramatically? That was such a dramatic animation. Good grief, Lord Van Zieks? I don't believe it. The knife from the crime scene and this fragment of old metal are a perfect match. Good golly gosh. Yes. Is this some sort of Eastern sorcery? This is no magic, my lord. This is a miracle. A miracle? So Van Zieks has figured it out, has he? Counsel, explain this extraordinary coincidence at once. Yes, my lord. The crucial point we have to ask ourselves here is when did the fragment of metal find its way inside Mr. Gyarados' pipe? Something that was clarified for us in the most recent witness testimony. I had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out with one of her soft projectiles she did. Yes. It would never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Oh, dearie me. During the argument between these two that occurred just as the victim was on the pavement below, Mrs. Gyarados flung this knife at her husband. However, the knife misses Mr. Gyarados, instead striking the pipe in his hand at the time, which caused the tip to break off, of course. Good lord. Yes, and that is when the tiny tip of the blade found its way inside Mr. Gyarados' pipe. The chances of that are 1,000,000 to 1. And yet there's no other credible explanation for how the tip of the blade ended up in your pipe. Then after losing its tip, the knife ricocheted off the pipe and flew out the open window. In short, this knife, which fell from the window of the Gyarados' house,
is the very same knife that struck the victim in the middle of the back on the street below. Oh gosh, oh dear, oh no!
Objection!
Hmm? Oh, she's speed drinking, and he got his wine. The world's finest wine. A full-bodied theory, I'll give you that. Hmm? A complex bouquet of seemingly trivial points, plausibly arranged to create an almost passable vintage. Allow me to toast my learned friend's characteristically Nipponese approach to bottling his argument. Sorry? But after all, it is just a theory. A game theory! The bottle, I fear, is corked. Because you see... Dope. It's spoiled by an insurmountable inconsistency. An insurmountable... What? Lord Van Zieks, explain yourself. What is this inconsistency you claim to have identified? An inconsistency of the simplest nature, my lord. The victim was found with a knife planted in the middle of her back. Yes, in her... That's right, you silly little man. Oh man, he got slapped. Now, Joanne, old thing, what are you getting so excited about? Let us consider the basic facts of the case once more. The victim was walking along the pavement before being stabbed in the back and falling to the ground. If the knife that struck her had fallen from above, there's no possible way it could have planted itself in the victim's back. Ah! Order! Quite right, you see, that's exactly right. If the knife had fallen on her from above, it would have struck her on the top of her head. That poor man. Well, he's lost for words, look. I knew it. I never liked this theory in the first place. I don't know, though. What really did happen? It would appear the defense has made rather a spectacular blunder. If a theory has even one inconsistency, it cannot stand. Your theory, my learned friend, is history. Oh no. We were so close I could see the truth. I was so sure we were on the right track, but now the way has been blocked completely by just one simple inconsistency. Or in other words, we simply need to eliminate that one inconsistency and the theory will stand. Miss Usato. You mustn't worry, Mr. Naruhodo. You were just caught off guard, that's all, and your mind went blank. But if the path you were on is indeed correct, then a way will present itself. The key to this is in the court record, I'm sure. All the info you need is there. It seems you have nothing to say. It seems you have nothing to say, my Nipponese friend. Well, your silence speaks volumes. Let's have to accept and say your theory is fatally flawed. Oh wow, his clothes have been burned. You can't stop us now. Why did I say objection like this? This inconsistency doesn't mean I was on the wrong track. It means that I need to sharpen my mind and dig deeper for the truth. It's a test. Yes. If the knife fell on the victim from above, there's no way that it could have hit her in the middle of her back. Under normal circumstances, that is. What are you implying? Counsel? There is a piece of evidence in the court record that can explain this inconsistency. That can explain how the knife that fell from above could have pierced the victim's back. We already have the answer. Goodness. Utter madness. Surely this must be the last time. Counsel, present the evidence of which you speak. Let's do it. This is the last inconsistency, the final piece in the puzzle. If I can successfully make sense of this, the truth will be laid bare at last. The evidence that explains how the falling knife became lodged in the victim's back is... Ooh. The inconsistency that can help with the back. I'm trying to see. Ah! The falling knife that can explain it. Not that, not that, not that, not that. Maybe not that. Oh, wait. Oh. Oh. She found a book on the floor and then knife went stabby stab in her back when she was reaching for oh my, what a way to get hurt. What a way to go. Imagine that. Shit. This, the fourth book found at the scene. This is the final piece of evidence the defense will present. The burnt book. Is that not Mr. Gavdev's book? Yes, and to understand its significance, we have to consider how it came to be at the scene in the first place. This photographic print clearly shows the book in question, and the victim holding it in her hand. But as we all know now, it was the police constable that put the book between her fingers like that. Quite so, as part of his wholesale transplanting of the crime scene to the opposite side of the road. That's true, however. As part of his testimony, Constable B made an extremely enlightening statement on that point. But what made you place that book in the victim's hand? Oh, well, sir, that's because that's how I found it. When we first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand. I used super glue. In other words, the victim had already picked the book up of her own volition. And clearly that must have been before she suffered the knife wound. Well, I should say so. After being attacked with a knife, I don't imagine she had been doing much of anything. So the question becomes, why did the victim have that book in her hand? But by Jingo! I think I'm beginning to see what may have happened now. Oh dearie me. We know that the book fell from the top floor of the Garadev household on the pavement below, at precisely the moment that the victim was walking past. I mean, literally. Oh look, a book! It could be the same thing like, oh look, $1, a penny. Immediately gets stabbed for being greedy. You just want free things, and that's why you got taken away by the book. The book steals your soul. Yes, at exactly that moment, the young woman was walking along the street in the light fog when all of a sudden, a book fell right in front of her. The book I threw. Yes, Mrs. Garadev, and what do you think the woman did? What would you do if you were walking along and suddenly a book landed in front of you on the pavement? Remember, it was also on fire because there was burnt marks, so it was a flaming book. Well, I can't really imagine it, but I suppose she might have reached down and picked the book up? Yes, that is exactly what the woman in fact did. She picked up the book. Oh heavens. And when the woman reached down to pick the fallen book up, what position would her back have been in? That's right, facing the sky, completely and utterly defenseless. Then, in the very next moment, while the woman was still bent over picking up the book. Dang. The next object fell from the room above, the jackknife straight into the middle of her back. Sheesh. And at that same time, walking by chance directly behind Miss Green, was the defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume. Well, I never. It appeared to Mr. Natsume that the woman simply collapsed on the floor. In the dark and the fog, he didn't see the knife falling on her, but from above. And from the other direction, the constable and his wife saw no one but the victim and her apparent attacker. So there never was a real culprit to run from the scene in the first place. No, this was nothing more than a series of unlikely events that accumulated in an unfortunate accident. And that is the real truth behind this case. They're like, are you crazy? Yes. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb? The very first time you showed me that knife, I had my susses. I wonder if perhaps it might have been something like that. There, old bean. Poor Miss Usato. Of course, I never meant for anything of the sort to happen, but it was all my fault, wasn't it? So it was an accidental thing. This was an accident. Wow, that stinks. I take full responsibility. I let my anger get the better of me. I threw that book. And then I threw the knife as well. John, dear. It's alright, I know. I'm ever so sorry. Truly. I'm sorry! Oh. We don't need to look at that. We don't need to look at that, chat. We did not need to look at that. Zooms in further. So is this the couples case, chat? Is this nothing but the couples case where couples just get pain? The couples are just pain. Lord Van Zieks, what news of Mrs. Garrideb? She's been taken to the infirmary. It would appear that today's events had left her in an especially flustered state. However, I believe she will recover in due course. There is no cause for concern. Yes, unbeknownst to themselves, they caused what could easily have been a terrible tragedy. They shall have to prepare themselves for the consequences of their actions. There is some good news, however, my lord. I have just word from the hospital where the victim is being treated. Her condition is improving steadily, and the doctor believes she will regain consciousness soon. It's strange. We've been talking about the victim all this time, but we never once met her. How wonderful. The woman is out of danger, it seems. Yes, that is good news. So, Mr. Soseki Natsume? Yes? Yes. On behalf of my fellow countrymen, I would like to take this opportunity to beg your pardon, sir. You came from your distant eastern homeland to study our great British culture, and have been repaid with immeasurable kindness. Please accept our heartfelt apologies. Cool, silence. No, it is me who should be begging your pardon. Wait, what? Oh no, Mr. Natsume. That evening, when the young woman just collapsed on the pavement before my eyes, I jumped to the wrong conclusion again in my confusion. Wait, what conclusion, sir? I was sure that the woman was dead. Yes, Constable B said the same thing, didn't he? He thought she had been killed too. I suppose she must have looked completely lifeless. It's been about a year since I arrived in Great Britain now, but I still can't get used to life here. I can't relax. I'm sure there are evil spirits lurking in the fog, like they're haunting me. Poor Soseki-san, his imagination really has got the better of him. Yes, poor man. So when it happened, I thought the young woman had been taken by the fog spirits. I should never have dropped my books like that and run away. I should have called for help for a doctor for the police. Instead, I managed to create a rift in the relationship of trust between our two empires. And for that, I am truly sorry. One could indeed say that some sort of mischievous spirit has been at work here, I would think. one that created a chain of unfortunate mishaps. We were befooled by the spirit and led to false conclusions, but thanks to Lord Van Zeeks and our young lawyer here from the east, that chain has now been broken and the spirit exorcised. I heartily commend you both. Oh! Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Yes, my lord. In concluding this trial, I must ask one last time for your decisions regarding the defendant's culpability. Are you ready to present your findings to the court? As the foreman of this jury, I can assure you we've reached a fair and just conclusion. I do declare the truth can be extremely cruel at times. Well, I didn't suspect the woman next to me, that's for sure. Wait, what? Huh? Sitting in for the old bean while she's out of action, you know, but I know what her decision would be. Does this mean I'll finally be able to get out of here and start work? Well, it's about time. I say, I'll have a corker of a story to tell the grandchildren when I get home, won't I? Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. I hereby demand your final decisions. Mr. Foreman.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Yay.
Not guilty.
Yay.
Not guilty.
Yay.
Not guilty.
Yay.
Not guilty.
Yay. That's 6 yays and no nays. And with that, it is... I don't know why I did that. Very well, Mr. Soseki Natsume, I hereby pronounce you not guilty! Confetti in the olden times. I don't know where they come from, but the fireworks are nice. Can't believe they downgraded the special effects in the future. And finally, Mr. Natsume. Oh, yes, Lord, sir. You are now a free man once more. It is my hope that you will continue to further your education in British culture. And may you never again be brought before me. Oh, yes, sir, of course. Sparkle, sparkle. On my life, I swore I'll never set a foot in the courtroom again. They're transported to tears! Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned. Yay. I did it, chat. I won another case. I did it, yeah. Oh, Locum. Wait, you mean me? Of course! Is there another Locum here? Is there even one? Compared to the original Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, your name has become rather short, hasn't it? What's wrong with using my actual name? Oh, at last I'm free, I'm free! Joy, he dabbed. Joyful, joyous, jubilant jubilation. Heady, hearty, happiness, hurrah! Oh, I am pleased. Mr. Natsume is delighted. Would it be so hard just to say that then? Locum, you did it. You saved me from the brink. Well, what happened to the poor woman was in no way your fault after all. I'm just glad everyone can see that now. No, not that. Lovely, loyal Locum lawyer. Yes? I mean, as I said before, I have just never got used to life here in Great Britain. Every time I look over my shoulder, I see foreigners. I see towering brick buildings. And from high up windows, I see them looking down on me laughing. Look at that little hunchback. Oh dear, I'm sure it's all in your head, Mr. Natsume. But today, you, Locum lawyer, gave my gloom the boot. You stood firm behind that baronial bench before all those babbling British. You battled to the bitter end, laying bare the baffling truth. And when I beheld the blinding fireworks among the beams of the Bailey's roof, I bellowed, "Behold the best barrister ever born!" Well, that's very flattering, and we're very pleased for you. This has given me a wonderful anecdote to recount to my old friends back in Japan. An anecdote? Is that what's to become of all my hard work? Ah, there you are, my dear fellows. Oh! I apologize for keeping you waiting. I rose late this morning.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, what a pleasure to see you. I see I'm here not a moment too soon. A disaster has been averted, I'm glad to say. Oh. The trial shall begin presently, Mr. Naruhodo, and I wish you the very best of luck. It's just finished. What? No, then my haste was in vain? Ah! It's you! Herlock Sholmes! Oh, have we met, sir? This is Mr. Natsume, the man you had arrested, Mr. Sholmes. I see. I failed to recognize you at first. Our previous encounters have taken place in the gloom, either of your bleak lodgings or that prison cell. I simply couldn't place that curious face in the light. Charming. This is all your fault. Herlock Sholmes! You're the reason I had to go through this terrible ordeal. You're late like Sholmes. And what is the reasoning for that, CV? I'm going to give you a piece of my mind. My apologies, sir, but I assure you I have placed you now. You're the fellow who abandoned that poor young lady and ran off, are you not? YMCA. I think he's doing the YMCA right there. Has she been taken to hospital more urgently? I feel perhaps she would have regained consciousness by now. Oh, dab. But it was unavoidable, I'm sure. We are but human after all. Anyone would have been shaken by such an experience. I do feel very badly about how I behaved. Well, never mind. Now then, what was it that you wanted to say to me, sir? Nothing. Priceless. Oh, I am sorry, really, but that was quite priceless. Poor Soseki-san. That could be a reaction thing right there. The haha, that was like precious or ridiculous. Just very precious. Or, no, wait. Priceless. It was priceless. Still on the bright side, you had an extremely entertaining experience without paying a penny. And it would seem you were not even found guilty. But there is no bright side. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Natsume? Even after all this, I'm still cursed by the spirits and now by the Reaper. Ah, Lord Von Zeeks. I haven't forgotten, you know, what facing that man in court means. Even if you're found not guilty, you're still doomed. It'll be all right, Mr. Natsume. If the Reaper appears trying to make trouble, I will protect you. I will give him the Susato Te- Oh! He's shaken in fear. With a perfectly executed Susato takedown. Hold on, Chad. I'm feeling woo. This makes me real sick. I gotta fix it. I gotta fix it real quick. Much better. There we go. Much as I like being turned on my head, a bit of warning might be nice next time in Susato. Whoop, whoop. So, Mr. Natsume, what do you intend to do now? You mentioned something about recounting your experiences to your friends back in Japan. Yes, I intend to return to my homeland soon. Oh! It has already been a year since I arrived here in Great Britain. I visited universities, libraries, bookshops. I've been honored with the tutelage of professors. I've learned so much about the wealth of literature here and the city it has shaped. And I've come to realize that it is my calling to sail home and tell my fellow countrymen about it. That's very touching, Mr. Natsume. Or in perhaps less veiled terms, you wish to withdraw halfway around the world to escape the terror of the Reaper's curse. That's not it at all. The more I learn of literature, the more the strange feeling claws at my insides. I feel compelled to return to my roots and attempt to pen a work of my own. Oh, I see. A work of literature by Soseki-san. Could be an interesting read. And what about Mr. Sato and yourself, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry, what about us? Will you return to Japan alongside your mustache compatriot? Why would we? A week has not yet passed since we arrived in London, and now only does it feel as though we finally found our feet. And you are accommodated in a hotel at present, are you not? That's right, but we need to find lodgings before it bankrupts us. I've calculated we can afford another 10 nights before our entire budget is exhausted. Well then, you can take my lodgings. Oh, the windowless room? But what it lacks in windows, it more than makes up for with a floor, a ceiling, walls, and books. Endless books. Great. And of course, I'd be happy to leave behind the accursed evil spirit. Oh my, an evil spirit? Fun fact, Soseki-san is actually based on a famous Japanese writer. Really? Oh yes. It tries to suffocate you while you sleep. It's an infallible wake-up call. We'll think about it, if that's all right. Perhaps I can offer a more welcome alternative. Would you consider taking lodgings with me? And they were roommates. Really? Well, a vacancy has conveniently presented itself. Though it is up in the attic, I might add. Are you sure it isn't just a storage loft? I spoke with the landlady this very morning on the matter of price, and Iris is cleaning the room as we speak. You must come at once. I presume you have no luggage to speak of? Oh, this is simply wonderful! What an honor to be invited to taking lodgings in the great detective's office. This is his attic. I'm too overcome for words. So suggesting we look elsewhere is out then. Then it's settled. Iris will prepare a welcome dinner this evening. And you must come too, Mr. Natsume. I insist. I don't know what to say, but thank you, and yes. Wonderful. Then I'll go and complete the paperwork for your formal release, Mr. Natsume. It shan't take long. Somebody's happy. She's like, yay! Gonna be roommates. Locum, I knew that you wouldn't let me down. I'm truly delighted to have met you here in London. Likewise, Mr. Natsume. It's been a privilege meeting you too. It's a shame that we're gonna have to say goodbye so soon. Well, I've come to realize that I belong in Japan. But Locum, we'll meet again one day. Yes, I'm sure. And hopefully by then, I'll be a successful lawyer. Hopefully by then, I'll be a successful author. Yeah, only one of those things is coming true, and it's me becoming stupid. Well, my dear fellow, our carriage appears to have arrived. Shall we go, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, Mr. Sholmes. I have little doubt Mr. Natsume will be released in time for dinner this evening. So, leave him behind. And so, with Soseki-san's innocence successfully established, we rode with Mr. Sholmes to what was to become our new home, 221B Baker Street. Yay! Fun times indeed. Whoa. Why is this creepy? Wait, why is there a bunch of onions on the wall? Anybody know something about the onions?
It's onions. What's with the onions?
So this is to be our new office, yes. You don't have onions on your wall? No. I have garlic. Our office? I rather like the sound of that. Me too, it's simply wonderful, isn't it? The Wright and Co. law offices. Oh wait, I mean the Naruhodo and Co. law offices. I hope you can see this, Kazuma. It's only a small step, but I like to think we're getting a little closer to your dream now. So, my dear fellows, do you like the place? Oh. Okay, he did not have to dress like that, but he wanted to. Okay. I was not admiring, I was just looking. I was just staring.
Ah, Mr. Sholmes, yes, thank you so much. It's a delightful room, Mr. Sholmes. I simply adore it. Good, I'm pleased to hear it. Iris and I are delighted to welcome you. I hope everyone's hungry. It's nearly time for dinner. We'll eat as soon as Mr. Natsumi arrives. We'll have a lot to celebrate. Iris, you must let me help you. All right then, Susie. Susie, do you mean in charge of the salad? If you fail, I'll shoot you down. Imagine that. You just hear, pew! Well, I lost another friend today. So, Mr. Naruhodo, how does it feel to have your own office in the capital? It's very exciting, actually. I can't help wondering what adventures await us. In the Great Ace Attorney Adventures! I get it now! Those were precisely my sentiments when I first established my office at these premises. Until I discovered the dark truth about the city of London, that is. Sorry? London is a glorious place full of wonder, opportunity, prosperity, and mirth. But the brightest of lights cast the darkest of shadows. Shadows? What do you mean? Well, I believe you're well aware of the murkiness that lies behind London's facade already. Wait, Rush, did you not play this game? Because you're asking where's Kazuma. If you're wondering what happened to Kazuma, why are you watching the stream? So once again, Mr. Naruhodo, welcome to London. Okay, it's London time, of course, at the time. You're just here for Sloth Detective? Lem, you're being too nice. Lem's like, it doesn't matter what game the Sloth is playing. If the Sloth is playing a game, I will see the Sloth play a game. I had no idea the significance of the words Mr. Sholmes so casually spoke, but it wasn't long before my turn came to lift the facade and see the true depth of the murk that lay behind it. And if that is it, yep, there we go. That is the end of episode 4 of the Great Ace Attorney, which means we have one more case in this game. There's one more case in this game, and it's usually the end-all final case. And usually the final case usually becomes the craziest. So we'll be back with more Great Ace Attorney adventures next week, chat. Yes. We'll be back next week with the beginning of episode 5, The Adventure of the Unspeakable Story. But I will be back on Friday with the Pokemon Randomizer Nuzlocke. If you haven't followed me, please do. Thank you everybody for your support. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I do upload most of the time on my YouTube channel right now. Ever since I started working, I have to change up my schedule. So things are going to be a bit different, especially streaming wise, because my job schedule changes every week. So daily videos and streams 4 times a week may not happen for a while, but I will do what I can, chat, because I need to make my money. I need to pay my bills, pretty much, but it's a job I like. It's a job I like. But of course, thank you for coming, everybody. I'll catch you then. Catch you on Friday. We got Nuzlocks to do, and Pokemon to suffer. All right.